Hello everybody, my name is Khaled Siddiqui, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to change the components and parts of your HME HS6100, 6200 and 6300 headset. This is the HME HS61, 62, 6300, WH300 and WH410 and what have you. A lot of these headsets are out there, and this is the weakest part. This is where it breaks, the microphone breaks, and you have to replace the microphone assembly. I'm sorry, the microphone case assembly. The case, the top case, which is this, you have to replace it. And in this video, you're going to learn that, how to change the bar, how to change the earpiece, how to change the PC board, the mic, all those. I'm going to be taking this apart and putting it back together. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we need before we start is we need a soldering iron. We need a T6 screwdriver, T6. We need a T5 screwdriver, and we need a flat screwdriver. Those are the three things we need. So the first thing we need is we need to remove the sponge, and we need to remove this little thing, or the sponge holder. Second, we need to remove this so it gets out of our way. For that, we need the T6. We open it right here. It's only one screw. Take the screw out. Be careful not to lose the little lock washer. There's a lock washer on the screw. You don't want to lose that. This slides out, and if you have to just replace this, that's how easy it is. This is how you replace it. Now we go to second level. We don't open these yet, these two screws. We have to open this and disconnect the earpiece. Okay, so now for that I'm gonna use a prying tool. You can use any prying tool. This is a dull knife I'm using. There are like, some of them have 4, some of them have 5 anchor spots, and you have to open those anchor spots. There. So this one had 5 anchor spots, and if you see, those are the 5 anchor spots. Let me show it to you here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what we need to do is temporarily remove this and put it back here. Temporarily. We have to disengage these wires. This is where your soldering iron comes in handy. Twist it a couple of times to separate the cables. The black glue that you see needs to go in order to reach to the actual soldering joint. You don't necessarily have to remove the glue, but you can heat it up, and there you go. So that's my first wire. The second wire. You want to make sure that black glue is gone, silicone glue, whatever that is. These are your 2 terminals that you will be soldering back to. So make sure all the parts are safe. Set it aside. Now this, you can set that aside. Now you have to open these 2 screws. Okay, so moment of truth, opening the other screws. Again, those screws also have little lock washers that you have to be careful not to lose. See the lock washers there? 2 lock washers. There's a lock washer. This one has its own lock washer. Those lock washers are very important, so you don't lose those. Now this comes out like that. this comes out. This is where you have to be very careful. There's a spring underneath this that holds the battery. The battery is held this way. So basically you press this. Let me zoom in. There. So basically what you do is you press this and the battery is released. Okay? The camera is having a hard time focusing. Go to a different camera. There. This will release it. Remove the blue and this separately. The blue and the bracket. Put it aside and remove the spring. Put it aside. Right here it's super glued from factory. I mean, it could have done it better, but it's super glued. It is what it is. You have to break the super glue in a way that you don't strip the wire. So there it is. I broke the super glue very nicely. There. Now we open, feed this out of there. This whole bracket comes up. Watch. Like that. The whole bracket came up. This is my board. Now, do I need to desolder these? Yes. If I don't desolder it, I cannot change this piece, this broken piece that I'm about to replace. So I have to desolder that. Before you desolder, use your phone to take a picture. It's very important that you take a picture to see which is which. The blue one is LED. This is the white wire, LED one, and the black wire. The black one is the microphone, and the white goes here, and the black goes. So basically the black wires go together, the whites are far apart on the opposite sides, and the blue, which is a blue color, is for the LED light to turn on and off right here, and the black one is for the microphone to pick up the sound right here. So if you forget to connect this correctly, your lights might be not working or working in reverse. But if you forget to connect this or connect it incorrectly, you will have no sound. So this is very critical to connect it correctly. So now we are disconnecting those wires. We're disconnecting the LED. Okay. So now this whole board is separated from the mic, but there's another flat ribbon cable at the bottom. The flat ribbon cable is this cable. So in order to remove this, you have to open these little tabs very, very gently, because they can break. Very gently open the tabs and slide this out like that. So these tabs will come, you have to slide it out and remove the flat ribbon cable. This is my board, and the board is, if I were to replace the board, so this is what I replace. But in this case, I'm replacing something more complex than the board, which is the whole assembly. Once I get to here, I have two more screws. This is where the T5, this one, so far we have been using the T6. Now that's the place where the T5 comes in handy. These are very, very small. Use good quality screwdriver. If you don't use WH good quality or other good quality T5 screwdriver, these are very easy to strip, and then you can never open them. So be careful. Now we're opening these. Make sure that if there is a play, you know, when you put the socket inside, if the screwdriver is moving and there is a play, you have to apply pressure and twist, because that play is not supposed to be there. Okay. There's my first screw. That's very, very tiny screw. It's hard to tell from the camera, but it's very tiny. And my second screw. Now you simply push this out and this comes out like that. Very simple. Now here you have to be careful, because there are three washers. The washers are arranged in such, be careful, pay attention. First, it's the plastic one. Second is the metal. And then it's this guy. So the plastic one goes first, and then the metal goes, and then this guy goes. And when you put this back, you see this dot right here? This dot is on the side where the mic is sticking out. So it will go like this. Like this. Okay. Now we remove these. We remove this one too. We remove our red rubber. So now if you look, all the components that came out, let me show you all the components that came out. Look at all the components that came out of this. Basically this almost, not quite, but almost in pieces. Everything is in pieces. And we have to make sure everything goes back into place correctly. So I'm going to set this all aside, and this is what I'm going to be dealing with right now. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'll be zooming in and separating this, because the new ones, or this is not a new one, it's used. You can't find these used new. You have to recycle the used ones. So the used one doesn't have all these buttons. They come just like this. Even if you were to get a new one, it would be just like this. This is for each headset. This part is different, because some of them have blue buttons with different writings. Some of them have different writings. So that's why they sell these separately, not together with the buttons. These are attached with glue only. If you look, there's black silicone glue. So basically you have to put some black silicone glue. In my case, I'm going to use some super glue, but yeah, you have to glue that. So in order to take it out, first you have to remove these glues. The glues can be removed with like pliers. You can take pliers, and there you go. That's one piece of glue. That second piece of glue. Third piece of glue, and fourth. Nothing special, just silicone glue. High temperature silicone glue. Not that this thing gets really hot, but this is a high temperature silicone glue. Okay. Now we have to put our screwdriver right here and pry this open. Very gently, very gently. Once the edge is slightly up, put the screwdriver in and go across. Just like this. Go across. Make sure that you don't break it, because this can break. This can easily break. Okay. Now what we do is we remove this from that. Make sure that you don't damage this little connector right here. So don't try, when you prying it out or sliding the screwdriver in between it to remove it, make sure not to hit this, because you will damage that. So I'm going to go this way. You cannot go too harsh, because you will break the board, you will damage the board. See, I'm not going towards down arrow, because that's where the switch is, the cable holder. See, all glue. Now these glues, this glue is some type of a silicone glue, which you could not reuse. So you have to either have silicone glue or use any handy glue that can hold it back together. Okay. So this is the piece that we need to replace, right? Okay, we set this aside. We take our new one. All right. So this is, like I said, is not new, is also used. So you have to make sure to remove the residue of the black silicone glue that's left on it. Now, when you put this back in, see this little connector right here? It has to go right there. The connector has to go like this. You can even see the picture. You see the white drawing there? That is to match this, like this, right here. To match it exactly like that. So you put it like that, okay? And you could clean this if you wanted to. This is also some kind of a glue, which I'm going to replace with silicone, with super glue. So I'll get this guy, clean it up a little bit. All of these need a little bit cleanup. Cleaning it up. And now I'm going to put this back in. Notice the hooks here, they're hooks. These hooks here, there's another hook, there's another. All these hooks must go in their appropriate places. Like this. Like that. So it snapped back in. It snaps in place. And there's some glue residue there. So yeah, it snapped in place, but you could put some super glue or what have you, just to make sure it doesn't pop open, because I haven't yet used any glue. I just put it back with snapping to teach you, but you know, you could put glue for more firm contact or grip, more firm grip. Now we will put the microphone. We put the microphone in this way. Hold it right there. Okay. And now, as I told you before, you will put the plastic washer first, metal washer second. This metal washer is for tension, so that the mic doesn't fall by itself. So there's some tension, and if you look, it's wavy. If the tension of the microphone is loose, you bent this. You bent this, make it more wavy, like this. Make it more wavy, and now you have better tension on your microphone. Now it's time to put this one back. Feed the wires first. Once you feed the wires, make sure that this little dot that I mentioned is facing this guy. There. So the dot has to be aligned with the microphone arm. Okay? The dot must be aligned with the microphone arm. Only then you're sure that the screws are aligned, and you can put the screws back in using the T5. T5 again. Remember, we're using the T5. I'm going to grab the second one. Okay. Okay, very nice tension, very nice. Now we will open this. Open the little thing to put back the flat ribbon cable. The ribbon cable, this is very important. Let me zoom in on this one so I could teach you. Very, very important. When you're putting the ribbon cable, you have to make sure you see that brown plastic. The blue should be on the side of the brown plastic, and the pins should be up. Once you push it in, push it as much as you can with a, you know, let me put this like that. You push it as much as you can, and then you close these, both of them. So first you push as much as you can from here. When it doesn't go any further, you close these. That's good. Now we will put this guy right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. This goes right there. Right there. And time to put the main board. The main board goes, first we have to put the ribbon cable again. Like I said, as I said before, the ribbon cable, even on the board, the shiny conductors are up, and the blue plastic is by the brown tab, faces the brown tab. You see this little white thing? This white square is water sensor. If the water goes inside the headset, this will turn red, which voids the warranty. There it is, nice and neat. Okay, these cables are very easily breakable, so don't bend them too much. Now it's time to put back the cables for the microphone. Now remember, as I mentioned earlier, the white goes to the microphone is the black one, the LED is the green one. I mean the blue one. For the microphone, the white wire goes to MC1, the black to MC2. So make a note of that if you have to take pictures before you take it apart. Okay. There it is. Very nice connection. With this one, with the LED R takes the black cable, the LED G takes the white cable. That's red and green LED. I'm gonna use a little bit solder flux because I don't think it's very good connection there. Okay, that's good. Now what do? We put these wires aside. These wires right here must be arranged in a way so they don't go on top of each other and create a bulky bump, because if it does create a bulky bump, then it will not allow this to go inside. So be careful. Now is the time to feed the wires through this hole. See this hole? We have to feed the wires through this hole. And there you go. This went inside. Let me remove this so you can see better. See this right here? There's a little tab that goes in underneath. It goes to this hole right here. Now, this is the tricky part. Watch very carefully. First, you put the spring. Second, you take this and point the arrow this way. Make sure that the hook is pointing down. These two hooks, see the hooks? Make sure it's pointing down, and you set it on top of the spring like this. This is critical because this falls easily. Now you have to put this, but see right here, let me show you. The wire has to be fed through this. So you have to feed the wire first, and you cannot bend this too much, because if you bend this too much, it will hit the battery. So you have to be this is a critical part right here. There you go. Finally. Now you just simply put it over that. Put it over that blue button. Make sure that blue button or blue tab is not affected. Now you put these two screws. Remember the lock washers. Do not lose the lock washers. You need T6. You need the second T6. Now you put this guy back and you have to solder this. Remember the longer wire? Okay, first let me explain which wire goes where. You see this little sticker thing, this little box for sticker? This is how it goes. This sticker goes down towards the mic. Okay? Now, if you look this way, the yellow wire goes here, the black goes here, because the yellow is shorter. Okay? So the yellow goes here. This is a little tricky because you don't have much length of the cable to play with. So that's why it's a little tricky. So I'm gonna take some soldering paste to ease the connection. Okay, and I'm going to put some soldering paste on the second connection as well. There you go. Both connections are great. Now, again, this part goes towards the mic, like this. That's how you put it. Okay, so I think, oops, let me see what's going on here. There. Now we put the cover. We can put this guy. This needs a little bit of cleaning. Okay, so we put this guy back in. We put this guy. Don't push it all the way in, because this has to match the hole right there. So if you push all the way in, the hole passes that. So put it a little bit in, and put the lock washer first. This is the lock washer, and again T6. And voila, we have a headset up and running, fully functional, without any spare parts left on the table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a battery, make sure it powers up and everything works. And there it is. It's working. Hello. One, two. Hello. It's good. It's good. So I'm turning it off. And that's it. It's not very difficult, but it's quite time consuming and involved with delicacy. I mean, not delicacy, what am I saying? I meant to say precision. With a lot of precision, you have to be very precise. I must be hungry, I'm saying delicacy. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe.